wins, cool stuff that's happening in our business. How is our business growing? You can either speak up or I can call on you guys. Your choice.
I picked up, I think, a huge contract.
I'm going to stop sharing actually because so we can all see. Jason picked up a huge contract. Continue, my friend.
We got hooked up with a nationwide company that sells car chargers. I guess directly from the dealer. So we would get sent out prepaid to jobs that are already set for us. We don't have to do much.
That's huge. And you are an electrician?
Yes.
Okay. So I work with electricians, and this car charging win really is huge because these car chargers cost anywhere, what, 1,500, 2 grand, sometimes more to install, right?
Yeah, and we're going to be selling car chargers also.
Oh,
And the company that we're buying them through and reselling them through actually just had a big Super Bowl ad. So they said it was a great time for us to hook up with them.
I know which company you're talking about. I saw that ad actually, and I thought of my electrician that I work with trying to sell these same chargers. They're the charger that can almost go with like any vehicle, I think.
Yeah, they're universal, so they'll do 15 different vehicles.
Yeah,
And you can link them together so that you can charge multiple vehicles.
that's awesome, dude. That's an awesome win. Anyone else? Can we get maybe 2 more wins? Growth wins. How's this year starting? Even if you had a fun Super Bowl party that you want to share. What good things are happening in our lives and in our businesses? Oh, Brent, it looks like you're already about to
I got to win.
Yeah, let's hear
I
it.
got to win. Can you hear me all right? So Harley checked in with me on Monday. We went through my numbers of that we needed to sell about $22,000 more in the month to hit our break-even point. And Harley, we just signed off on a $95,000 project. So we just hit it. We crushed
Come on! Let's go!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
So 95,000, I wasn't an expert in math. My brother has a high genius IQ. That was always his area of expertise. 95,000 sounds a lot more than 22 though, right?
Yeah, there's a difference there.
Yeah,
and we still got how many days left? We got how many days left in the month yet?
Yeah, dude, that is huge.
So,
do you remember where that lead came from? How'd you get that job?
Repeat clientele from about 5 years ago.
There is gold. Insane. There is gold in the hills. Something my dad said. There's a gold in the hills of your past customer base. If you're not doing anything,
and so between that and something else I'm really proud of is I'm a tile contractor, and we follow all the industry guidelines written by the National Tile Council of America, NTCA. And it's a book about, 2 inches thick. I think it's about 650 pages. It sets all the industry standards for tile setting around through the United States. I went to the world's largest flooring convention in Vegas last week, and you're always looking for new things, and you're wondering maybe was this trip worth it? I was approached by the president of the NTCA, Martin Brooks, and I was asked if I would be interested in being an ambassador for the NTCA, and I proudly said yes. So I'm jumping on board with the NTCA, and I became an ambassador for the company, which kind of a baby step, which you can graduate into sitting on the board. And all it does is, not all it does, but it just recognizes me as an industry leader, that I'm following industry standards. There's only 3 ambassadors in my state, to give you an idea. There's 3 of us, and I'm one of them. And all tile manufacturers, all setting materials, everybody follows NTCA industry standards. And I'm jumping on that bandwagon, and I'm going to fly that flag hard. I'm going to put ambassador on my shoulder. I'm going to put it on my business card, and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to just work that angle. So that's a huge win. I can't wait to see what kind of opportunities that's going to open up for us.
Yeah, that's really big, and you're even reminding me of Jason's win that he just shared. If we become an authorized dealer, ambassador, if we get special recognition, certifications for something, what you're saying, Brent, is the exact move. Blast that all over the place. Let people know why, because they already trust that brand that you're associated with. They already have trust. This is why it's important to get #1 to Google. People literally treat Google as if it's the sole authority on truth. We even made a verb about it. Oh, I don't know what the thing is. Google it. It's like the sole authority because there's trust there. If you're ranking high on Google, your customers will trust you. Same thing with the ambassadors. Same thing with any certifications. Blast that all over the place. Why? It'll make your sales process easier. It'll give you better customers to work with. And then you get member benefits, I'm sure, from being a part of the program too.
There are member benefits that I couldn't believe, like the door, I didn't even realize this, but the healthcare benefits now, being with the NTCA, all their employees, and once you're on board, it becomes a bigger conglomerate to where I already looking at the health benefits that I can sign my company up for. I never thought I could afford to offer health insurance. Boom. Now I sat in on a Zoom meeting early last week and I started seeing it getting laid out for me going, wow, okay. I'm just going to be able to attract even more talented help now because doors have opened.
Yeah. Yeah. And Brent, I feel like if I let you, you could literally spend this whole hour just talking about how you're winning. And so that's awesome.
Coming up.
Have one more quick, no longer than a minute win they want to share. I've got a win from one of my clients. Dad, you got one?
Is Musa still raising his hand because of the last thing, or does he have something good to say?
I think that was a hand raised for I know what football is.
Okay.
I think the hand stayed there. I don't know if Musa has a win or not. But anyone else? Pete, buddy, you're driving, and that must mean you're going somewhere, which must mean you're winning.
I am sitting outside of my daughter's dance studio waiting for her to get out of here. But I bought a new truck today after a nice long search.
Yes.
So anybody that's been looking for vehicles lately knows that they're hard to come by. So got a really good deal, about $6,000 under MSRP for a E250 van. So
that's
happy
big.
about that.
Yeah, that's a huge win. Adding more trucks, huge new revenue, huge new profit opportunity. That's what we're wanting to do. That's what we're wanting to help with. I know. I think of when you say searching for a new van, I immediately think of this man in the blue button-up shirt, Roger. I've been able to hang out with Roger a few times in Tulsa because he's based in Austin. He buys his vans in Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, wherever, drives them back to Austin, flies to the state, then drives the van back. And so, yeah, it's really hard. Well, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to let Tim kind of take over, and we want to get into the topic here today.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Why don't we start that screen here? We're gonna first of all really talk about, to prep for what Robert's going to bring us into. We really want to talk about creating cadence in your business, and the foundation for that cadence, it will only work if you've got a strong system of accountability. Let's pop that one more time here. And I've always liked to say is that without accountability, nothing improves. Without accountability, nothing improves. So what we want to do is we want to get your business into cadence where it reduces the amount of thinking you have to think about it. It's already got a fairly predictable schedule that you're going to run into week to week. You don't have to use creative energy, to think, how am I going to work my business? Our goal is to actually make your business fabulously boring so that it's just making money without a whole lot of necessarily thinking, but it does have active accountability. So without accountability, nothing improves. Now, how many of you have loved to talk to your employees, especially if they're related to you, about something that they need to improve? You guys raise your hand on that. Anybody want to do that? How many has a little, yeah. How many has a little bit of an issue with you're a little bit slow to pull the trigger, shoot the cannon at somebody, whatever? You know, you have a little bit of a problem with it. Yeah. So a lot of us do, but just know this, that your business and your wallet and your bank account and the fatness of your future is tied into that accountability. Let's click on the next slide here. So what I want to do is I want to talk about creating a cadence in your business. And I want to remind you of the first point, really, of what is the purpose of your business? What is the purpose of your business? So now this is really, really fundamental. And I'm going to pause for a moment just before I define this once again. I want to remind you, all those of you that are paying the growth incentive, you've hit the growth incentive. We have a special meeting once a month, just myself and the handful of these clients that met that. And we're diving into different aspects of how to multiply your wealth building through your business and how to multiply your wealth building even outside the business. We had a meeting a few weeks ago. It was awesome. We have a meeting this Tuesday at 4:00. It'll be a private meeting just to those people that have paid the growth incentive. Those people that pay the growth incentive, what they've done is they've pretty much have already doubled the revenue since they started with us. And they're paying kind of a success fee here. And all of our clients love paying this. And some of them are paying quite a bit here on it. They're closer to reaching the purpose of their business. The purpose of your business is not to serve your customers.
What?
So the purpose of your business, now, if you don't serve your customers well, your business won't serve you well. But we say the number one purpose of your business, the purpose of your business is to serve you, the owner. What lifestyle do you want? How involved you want to be in the business? How much money you want to make? How much retirement do you want that to take care of? How much enjoyment you have? There's a lot of people that love doing the craft of their business. You love doing that? Dive right in. We had a guy that had an HVAC company over $2 million a year, and he loved being out in the field. He had his wife, Robert was working with his wife pretty much to run the business because he didn't want to. He just loved doing the work. So the purpose of your business is to allow you to live the life you want to live. And that's what we want to, in our coaching, we want to help accelerate that re-engineering of your business to be able to serve you, the owner. So that's the foundation here. And you may have a different perspective of that. I'm not here to debate with you. It's just that's the focus we have as coaches of Redmond Growth. We want to get this business designed to serve you in the way that you need it to serve you. So let's go to the next point here. So what is creating a cadence? Why do I say creating a cadence? What does that have to do with accountability? What does that have to do with fulfilling the purpose of your business? Creating a cadence is reducing the most effective, let me just say it this way, the most effective people in life reduce the number of decisions they have to make. They set up a structure that they just follow the structure. It's like, I don't have to think about, well, when am I going to meet with Robert next? Well, we met today from 10 to 11 every week, Thursday. And then we're going to meet again, on Monday afternoon. And we got bunches of stuff that we're working through. And what about my accountant? Knowing about where we are with the numbers and the cash flow and any issues and all the stuff going on. I know I'm going to meet with her on Monday at 1:00. is creating a cadence is this predictability of working with each person in your business to make sure, each key person in your business, to make sure you're holding them accountable to fulfill the expectations that you set out for them to do. This is largely lacking even in larger businesses, but it seems extra tough even if you're like especially if you're like a 2 or 3 man operation. Well, okay, we work together all day. What do you mean you're going to hold me accountable? Yeah, get off your butt. That's what we want to have, a formal reporting of what's going on. So let's click this again here, Rudy. And at the heart of creating a cadence is making sure you're really clear with your goals, your expectations, and your measurements. The goals are, that's what you want to see people accomplish. The expectations are what you expect of yourself and what you expect of the people you work with. What do they need to do to be able to reach those goals? You make those really clear. And then we have ways of measuring them. We call them KPIs. Y'all know what a KPI is? It's it's key performance indicators. It's a key way for us to look at just this one number, these 3 numbers, to be able to find out, here's how well my business is going, how many phone calls we're making, how many quotes are coming in, how much revenue has come in, how much profits come in. These are some of the KPIs. And so we work with our coaches to really make sure that the companies that get the most out of our coaching are those that maintain their weekly accountability schedule, their KPIs. All right. And there are some clients that it's just like pulling teeth to do that. We're wanting to push into you so that you can get your business working for you, to redesign your business to make sure it's serving you. So we need to have these goals, expectations, and measurements. And then what we need to do here, you popped it earlier, Rudy, let's pop it now again. Here we need to have a system of accountability. So we have these goals, we have these expectations, we have these measurements. Now we need to create a system where we continually come back to that on a regular basis. Let's click that one more time here. So we need to be able to have some way of knowing, are we reaching our goals? Are we, I like to determine it, are we in the red, we're behind, or we're green, we're at or above where we should be? Are we getting those expectations, those KPIs? Well, how are we going to do that? How is a logical way of creating a cadence in your business? How are we going to do that? Click the next line here. Is we want to have regular meetings to review the progress. All right. And this is where it gets really, really important here. There's a parable from the Bible. I call it in Matthew chapter 25. It's called the parable of the talents. And I call it the Matthew 25 management system. And what that is that the servants, one was given 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent, according to their ability. Okay. And definitely Rudy would be the 5 talent kind of guy, right? You guys that get him on that. Okay, Rudy, good to have you back here. Haven't seen you for a while. And we also have a 5 talent coach. His name is Harley, and her name is Nicole.
No,
and,
Nicole's a 10 talent coach, Dad.
Oh yeah, I forgot in my notes here. Okay, well, I couldn't read Nicole's writing when she wrote that in. So no, I'm just playing. No, so you guys, all right, we have regular meetings, but what you want to do is your workers are coming to give account for where they're at. Are you running the meeting? Yeah, you can say you're running the meeting, but really the person you're meeting with or the team you're meeting with, they're coming to give account on these goals, expectations, and KPIs. All right. You want them ready to come prepared to give you an update on where they are on these things. Last click there, Rudy. And then what we have is we want to make sure that during these meeting times that we meet, we we track the 3 W's. And we want to make sure there's somewhere in the document, Robert's going to cover this, somewhere in the document, we're going to track, well, what needs to be done, who owns that, and when are they going to get it done by? Call it the 3 W's. It's the way that you run accountability in your business, the 3 W's. What is it that needs to be done? Who owns it? And when are they going to do it? When you get those things down, now you're really lean into that. You start to create a cadence in your business, and the business becomes less demanding on you than what it is when it may be now. You don't feel like, you got the weight of the world and you're working 60 hours, 80 hours a week. And when you're going to get done with it, just work with your coach, because we're going to slowly but surely get your business into a cadence and then get you qualified for these, the growth incentive. And I want you to be in that special meeting that I have with just a handful of people here. Just really pour out, very honest, very good, just a really, really good meeting we have. But I want you to be able to create a cadence in your business. Robert's going to take these ideas and he's going to put it into a very practical format. So Robert, why don't we turn it over to you?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dad, and yeah, not to sound like a suck up, but it's almost like I'm taking notes here, just because that's really good stuff. And for those of us have been with us over the past few group coaching calls, I hope, and we're very intentionally doing this, you're beginning to see how all this really comes together. How all this stuff that we've been talking about over the past few weeks, what have we covered? We've covered the hiring system, right? How to find people and creative ways to do that when it's hard to find people. We've talked about onboarding employees, how to create an incredible culture and how to onboard new employees successfully. We've talked about how to run a meeting, how to do a meeting, what Tim just talked about, the 3 W's, having an agenda, assigning action items, having your KPIs a part of your meeting. And so the next kind of session, or the next kind of segment, and really piece of the puzzle is really running your entire business with 5 meetings. There's a lot of people, and even when I first started to learn about entrepreneurship and really the right way to run a business, not by the seat of your pants, I started to just ask myself, how do they do it? There's this popular book out there, maybe you guys have heard of it, called The 4-Hour Work Week. Has anyone heard of this book, 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss? So look at, this is the title page of the book. It says, escape the 9 to 5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. Robert, how do I live anywhere if I've got an HVAC company with guys expecting me to be there every day? How do they do it? Is that even possible? Is this some just dream? What is this all about? We know about guys like this guy. Do we know who this guy is?
Richard Branson.
This is Richard Branson. So Richard Branson owns a group called Virgin Group. And right now, Virgin Group has a equity interest, has ownership in 60 different companies. 49 of those 60 companies are a Virgin company, are operating. Virgin Mobile, Virgin Air, are operating. Virgin Records are operating by a Virgin name. Richard Branson is the owner of that whole umbrella company, of that whole holdings company. How does this guy run 60 different companies and still have time to visit his private island? He legitimately has a private island, billionaire. How does he run 60 companies and still has time to go skydive? How does he run 60 companies and still have time to literally go to space? How do they do it? Well, that's what we're going to be covering. What we're covering is going to be a more small business version. The stuff that he does is, has some of the world's top people who's hiring CEOs. So he has people under him who hire the CEOs who run the company. But how does he do it? He does it through what we're talking about here, through creating this cadence. And so before we actually get into the good meat here, I want to ask you guys a question. I want us to unmute our microphones. And I want to ask you guys a question. Why aren't we doing it, really? Why aren't we creating a cadence? Why don't we have meetings? And guys, I'm going to try something a little bit off script here today. I'm going to try using a whiteboard, a digital whiteboard here. Everyone can still see my screen? Yeah? Okay. So I want to try using a whiteboard, and I just want to write up here, why not? And for our clients that are on the call, I want to ask you to be thinking, why aren't I scheduling? What gets in the way of a meeting? Why can't I seem to have a predictable schedule? Why can't I seem to do what Tim just asked, is find this beauty in a boring business that really, really works well? Let me hear from some of you guys. Why aren't we doing this? What's getting in the way of your meetings right now? I'm going to write some of these answers down. There's no wrong answer.
The urgent.
Okay, Mr. Roger, I gave him a heads up of what I'm covering today. So the urgent, what does that mean?
Like the urgent, but not important.
The urgent, not important.
But not important. So the fires.
Okay, I'm going to write that kind of as a second one here. Burning fires. What else we got?
Now, burning fire, that is urgent and important. So that's more of a quadrant 1 from the Covey time frame that he has, the 4 quadrants. So it's urgent and important. So it's important for us to get to, and it's urgent as yelling, there's a burning fire. We got to do it.
Yep. So we got urgent. You know, you guys can relate to that. We got burning fires that come up. Why is it hard to create a cadence? Who else?
Aji, as a mom and a business owner, I'm sure that you could probably give us a couple examples of the chaos that ensues every day. Would you mind sharing?
Yes. So we like to call Mondays Gangster Mondays, because Gangster Mondays, you have everything. Everybody wants everything done that same day. School, kids' schools are calling. You gotta go pick up your child. There's a bunch of stuff going on. There's a customer that's on the phone that's not happy about a job, or there's always something going on. So we get to call Mondays Gangster Mondays, because we gotta put out fires, and we have to put everything that we originally planned to do Monday morning, which probably would definitely be one of our meetings with our guys, to go over the week, to go over the jobs, and we have to pause everything to put all these fires out. It happens more frequently than we want it to, but we do the best that we can.
Yeah.
Did she say Hex Mondays?
Gangster Mondays.
Gangster Mondays. I love that.
Yes.
I just need to write that on here.
Gangsta.
And here's how you spell it. Mondays.
That's right.
Mondays. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the urgent. We've got, not important stuff that distracts us. We've got burning fires, important stuff that comes up. We've got family. We've got life obligations. Anything else that you guys can think of that's preventing us from creating a cadence, creating a predictable schedule, creating meetings in our calendar that we can follow and adhere to?
Employees calling out.
What was that?
Employees calling out.
Oh, here we go. That's a good one.
Drama with the employees, but you don't have those, do you?
Employees calling out. Anything else? Okay, so these are some really good ones, and I think if you maybe haven't said something, it's probably one of these things are already going on. Here's what I want to kind of say. Regardless of what all we have, anything that gets in the way, I'm not telling you to ignore this stuff. I'm not telling you to cancel this stuff. I'm not telling you to try to just pretend like it doesn't happen and do it anyway. The main thing I want to tell you here is even with a predictable schedule, there is still time to handle all of this. A lot of times we can buy into assumption that because of the chaos that we experience with life, with our business, with employees, with all this stuff, burning fires, that, Robert, I just don't have the time to do it. I just can't even think. And we may legitimately feel that way because we're at our mental capacity. Literally, our brains can't imagine taking something else on. How are we going to do that? The first thing I want you guys to know is that whatever is getting in the way, whatever's stopping you, there is still time to address it with this cadence, with these 5 meetings. And I'm going to pick on Roger today. And again, I told him I was going to tell this story. So I was in a meeting with Roger. This was a number of months ago. And Roger's a plumber in Leander, Texas, right outside of Austin. We've been working with each other for, I think this may be year 4, at least 3 years together now. And, you know, we were talking about meetings. And there's this quote I like to tell Roger that we have written really big on our agenda in big, bold, red font, which is always schedule the most important activities in your calendar. And so we were working on this, and Roger was coming to my meeting, and he was frustrated because he has all the want to in the world. Robert, I want to do this. I believe in this. I see it. I can't seem to have a predictable schedule. I can't seem to have this cadence. I can't seem to do these meetings. Why? Burning fires, stuff comes up, trucks go down, employees call in sick. It's too much. And so I said, okay, I thought to myself, I was like, okay, rather than trying to convince him that he has enough time to do this with everything else he has on, I just want to create a visual image. And so I asked Roger, I was like, Roger, what meetings do you know you need to be doing? Do you want to be doing that you're not doing? And there were these 5 meetings that we're going to go over here in just a moment. So I said, okay, what days are you doing these meetings? We put it in a calendar, you know, what days we're going to be doing this meeting. How long is it going to take? Who needs to be involved? We mapped it all out. And then I said, Roger, check this out. And I showed him this right here, this exact same document right here. As I said, Roger, look how much time you still have to do literally everything else you need to do. And it honestly became kind of funny. Like this huge thing that was stopping him honestly became kind of funny. Why? Because he realized he still had time to manage the chaos. Guys, chaos is not going to end in your business. The 40X group, 4 disciplines of execution, they call this the daily whirlwind, is whenever our day starts, once it hits 9 o'clock, at least for Redmond Growth, from 9 to about 5 or 6 o'clock, it's like, it doesn't even feel like we're living like in our own, we're just like going, like it's just a whirlwind of a day. It's just chaos, it's just meetings, it's just figuring stuff out. It's never going to end. That's part of what we're doing here in business. But there is still plenty of time to handle what needs to be handled, to do. I asked Roger the question. I said, Roger, your sizzle meeting, that's when he meets with his office admins. That's when he meets with his more operations focused, more administrative focused. I said, Roger, you have a sizzle meeting twice a week. It's, you know, from 10:30 to 11 on Monday and from 2:30 to 3 on Wednesday. I said, Roger, if one of your plumbers ruined a customer's home, I mean, water's everywhere, lawsuit is involved, whatever. how much of a difference will it make if you handle that at 10:30 when your meeting starts versus waiting 30 minutes to when your meeting is done to handle that at 11? Is there anything at all that will stop that? He's like, no. He's like, it doesn't really make a difference. And I know how you guys might be already thinking. You might be thinking of the very, very minor one-off cases where it's a terrible emergency where you do have to manage something. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the daily whirlwind, the daily chaos. We still have time to manage it all. And so I wanted to show us this because in my experience, I find that this is the biggest hindrance that people have in getting a cadence and getting a calendar. Is just not feeling like they have the time to do it. And this is meant to show you there's still time. You build managing the chaos into your calendar. You just work it around your cadence. You manage it around the cadence. So the next thing I want to talk about here is I want to get into the good stuff. I want to talk about the most important meetings. Before we move any further, any questions about what I just went over? Burning fires, not feeling like we have enough time, anything like that at all? Any objections? Robert, I don't think that would work. Okay, let's do this. We'll just move down here. Okay, awesome. So you guys are sold. Wow, I was convincing. So I want to actually talk about what meetings you guys got to have in your calendar. Just really functional, really basic stuff. What do I, as a business owner, need to be checking in on to really run my business through 5 meetings? So I'm going to put here the 5, right? So first meeting, we've got to have some sort of accounting / cash flow review. This can be 30 minutes to an hour. Any essential team members that need to be involved, make sure they're there. If you have someone internally helping with your books, make sure you're there. If you work with like a financial person that's outside, see if they can be there, see if they can set a weekly meeting. But you want to have a time baked into your calendar where you're just reviewing financial data. So what are stuff that we want to cover during this meeting? What are we actually doing during the meeting? Well, first of all, we're reviewing our P&L. We have a process where we teach business owners of how to read a profit and loss statement. P&L stands for profit and loss. Just after all our sales came in, after all of our expenses, how much money do we have left over? That's all a profit and loss is. And we train business owners of how to know what's happening in their business just by looking at one document, just a P&L. Why is it important to look at a P&L on a regular basis? Why might that be important?
Because nothing else matters. If our numbers are not accurate, nothing else matters. The next phone call, the next hire, the next customer. If we do not know our numbers, then what are we even doing?
Nicole, that's a right answer.
Thank you.
But I was hoping that people who didn't write the book tried answering here. And so anyway, no, Nicole's exactly right. And I say she wrote the book because she's exactly right. I've seen businesses go months before recognizing they needed increased price. They get to the end of the year, they look at a P&L, they're like, I only had a 6% net profit margin? How did that? Oh my gosh, I spent way too much on materials. They didn't catch it. Why do we need to look at our P&L on a regular basis? Well, we all just lived through COVID, or I guess we're still living through it. How many of you guys experienced material changes that happen pretty quickly? That's a lot to keep up with. The manufacturers are changing prices on us. The supply house changes prices on us. Sometimes the supply house gives us a heads up. Sometimes we don't. How do we avoid a situation where we're not charging our customers enough for the materials we're being in charge? P&L. What else do we want to review? Collections. And this is kind of like accounts receivable. Who owes us what? What money do we have left out there? Who owes us money? Who's not paying? And what's the plan to get it in action? Again, this is another area. I get to the end of the year, some of these businesses. Robert, we just realized we had $300,000 in our accounts receivable. That's a lot of money. We have no profits because all our profits are in the hands of people that owe us money for work we already did and for materials that we already paid for and for labor we already paid for months ago. How do we avoid getting into those situations? This cadence. We have an accounting meeting. We're reviewing this stuff, right? What else? This is really big for especially a lot of our service companies. Estimates and invoices. Are we charging our customers accurately? Are we following the process we need to follow? On our jobs, are we staying to what we just estimated? Again, you may think of, Robert, this stuff is important. I know it is. I believe in it, but how do you make sure it's being stayed on top of? How do you make sure it's happening? You bake it into your calendar. You schedule an accounting meeting, okay? Second meeting, sales. We've got to have a weekly meeting that's just devoted to our sales process. What are we doing in that meeting? Reviewing KPIs, right? How many opportunities did we have? How many converted? How many leads did we have versus how many appointments did we schedule? How many people reached out to us wanting help? How many people were we actually able to schedule for help? What is our average ticket total? Just knowing these numbers, you can't even know what direction to take your business in unless you're reviewing this stuff, unless you're knowing where it's at. So reviewing our KPIs on sales, and we're also reviewing our lead tracking, or for some of you, this is like a CRM, your software. And like my dad just said, we're wanting to tap into the green or red principle. Who do we still need to give proposals to that we promised 10 weeks ago? Who's still waiting on an estimate? Where's our leads coming from and what marketing is causing it, and where are we spending too much money on our marketing? Right, we're wanting to lead track. Meeting 3, team training. We want to devote 1 hour for a week for training our team. Okay. Harley, did you share the Jim Cathcart story last week about training?
Yes, I do remember hearing it. It was in a big speech of his that he talked about training for.
I just was curious if we shared it in a group coaching call.
Yeah.
So,
not in the group coaching call. No.
We maybe we did, maybe we didn't. There's this guy named Jim Cathcart. He's one of the best speakers in the world, literally Toastmasters, the world's largest speaking organization. He's a Golden Gavel Award winner, which means he was literally voted best speaker in the entire world. And in his acceptance speech of this award, he was talking about training. And he was talking about how he hears so many business owners come to him and say, Jim, why would I train my guys? Why would I train my team if they're just going to take what I taught them and just leave eventually, start their own company, take the goods somewhere else? Why would I spend time investing in my staff if they're not going to stick around, and take that to someone else? So Jim paused for a second and he's like, man, I hear you. Yeah, that's tough. He just very calmly responded and he said to the business owner, he said, let me ask you this. Okay, let's examine the alternative here. What happens if you don't train your team and they don't leave? They stay with you. Sounds like an even bigger problem. Now we have a bunch of untrained people you're stuck with, that you're getting frustrated time and time again because they don't follow process, they don't follow systems. We've got to have a time to train our team. Even your best techs can get better. Quick story on Redmond growth. We maybe back in October, November, started doing team training with our coaching team. For a long time, we invested a lot in people like Nicole, Rudy, Harley. They were at a really good spot. They were keeping clients. They're doing great work. But I kind of just realized to myself, that's like, there's no improvement happening here. You know, all three of these folks, they come to the table, they're wanting to learn, they're wanting to get better. So what are we doing now? 2 times a week for 1 hour, we're just doing coaching training, how we can better serve you guys, how we can get you guys better results, how we can get people greater wins. We've got to have a team training. And the biggest areas that I see a need for team training is in sales and in operations. And that's basically in the field. You may have a plumber that has 25 years experience under his belt. You know, there's parts of your system that guy can probably improve in. Maybe he knows plumbing frontwards and backwards, but does he know how to sell water conditioning and softening systems well? Team training. You know, maybe you have a guy that is really skilled in one area of your business, but you need to maybe pull him over to work he doesn't have as much experience in and get him developed in that. Cross-training him. We've got to have a time to do team training. 4th meeting we've got to have is an admin / operations meeting. Right? What are we doing in our admin and operations meeting? We're just reviewing systems, enhancing our processes, right? If we have people answering our phones, we're reviewing the quality of the calls. We're reviewing the script. We're making ourselves available to continuously improve. How are we doing in terms of our delivery to our customers? How are we doing in terms of getting jobs done efficiently? This is what a team operations meeting is about. What mistakes did we have on the last job or last call? How can we enhance our system to avoid those in the future? That's what we're doing. And the last meeting here, before we went out of time, the 5th meeting that you've got to have in your calendar every single week, your Redmond growth meeting. I say that with a smile because, yeah, of course I'm plugging my own company here. Of course I am. At the same time, what's the value that Redmond growth provides? We don't sell this initially, but it's why people stay. A third-party person who is committed to your goals, that can be laser focused on solving the problems in your business that will lead you closer to your goals. It's a time of reprieve for you guys to take a second and just breathe. Take a second and just vent. It's a hard time venting to your staff about your staff. I wouldn't recommend it. I've tried it dozens of times. No, I'm just kidding. Having a meeting where you have someone holding you accountable to the goals you want for yourself keeps you on track to see those goals. Like my dad said just a second ago, without accountability, nothing improves. So just a quick review, the 5 meetings we got to have in our calendar. These are separate meetings. Don't try to lump it up in one. That will become disorganized. It'll become inefficient. Don't do that. 5 separate meetings, 30 minutes to an hour each, accounting and cash flow meeting, sales meeting, team training, admin and operations, and a Redmond growth meeting. And here's the thing, guys. If you guys can get these meetings in your calendar, right? If we can actually do this, you'll begin to notice that those burning fires that were preventing you from doing the meetings in the first place begin to disappear, because we have a cadence built into our system that's designed to solve the burning fires before they even happen. Burning fires, a lot of times they emerge just because we have broken processes, because there's miscommunication, because we have people on all different pages. How do you eliminate that? Reduce the burning fires by saying, you know what? I am going to control my business. I am not going to let my business control me. How do you take the first step towards that level of control? Schedule these meetings in your calendar. So anyway, we're about out of time today, but I did want to leave it open. Any questions that we have over anything we left out covered? Jeff. Oh, you're still muted, buddy. I'm asking you to unmute. I don't know if something's popping up, but
Yeah. Am I good?
You're good.
Hey, I didn't have a pen with me today, and I didn't know, is there a way I could get like a PDF of this presentation so I could have to have and write notes? Not necessarily the video, but maybe the, I didn't know. Anyway.
We can certainly, yeah, we can get that to you.
Okay. I was taking pictures with my phone and I couldn't keep up with you. So
Rudy, could you actually put that together? Just a summary of 10 slides and what I've got written here.
that would be cool. That's all I need.
I will.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, it looks like Jose Andrade typed out a question in the chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Harley. Jose, is there any way you can join us on the mic here?
Also, Robert, with Jeff's thing, can you do a print screen of your thing on your marker board?
Yeah, I can do a screenshot.
Yeah.
So Jose, yes. Anyone, can anyone give me an idea of what the position of someone who can help me oversee jobs, purchase materials, communicate with customers and carpenters in the field for a small remodeling company? So yeah, Andrew's already answering your question for you.
That's what it is.
What was that?
Yeah, I was not sure of the name of project manager, because I've seen bigger companies have like a foreman or superintendent.
Are you just looking for a title?
Would be a title, but what my concern is, what is a project manager? From my understanding, was somebody that helped people in the field. They would oversee the entire project and have other people look at parts of project, but that would be for like a bigger company. And I don't want to pay like $100,000 a year for a project manager who has a lot of experience. So I'm willing to train someone, even, so I can pay lower salary.
Yeah. So a couple of approaches to this. The first thing that I would do is I would try to see, do I have anyone on my team right now that with my guidance and my oversight and maybe some additional training, could someone from my team step into this new role? That's the first thing that I'd ask. If you don't have someone that could do that, then we need to go hire someone from the outside. If the project manager title may not be describing what you're wanting, or you're worried about attracting people that are in a salary bracket that's too high, other titles around this position that I've seen work really well are things like field operations manager or just operations manager. I work with a remodeling company based in Colorado Springs, and that's what we hired. We hired a supervisor of field operations. And so maybe working with more of a mid-level management title, like an operations type of manager may attract the right kind of person. The first thing I would do though is see if anyone that you already have on your team, that your team respects, that shows up, that's well respected by you, could with some additional training and guidance move into that role. And that's something that one of your coaches can help you figure out the details for.
Okay.
Something I've done in the past is taking a crew lead and making them a crew lead working in the field, project manager, both. They're a project superintendent. They do both. And it's an easy way to get somebody to be in the field be responsible for what goes on site, and then fill you in on what they need, what they don't need, and go get the materials they do need while the crew is still there. So it's instead of hiring somebody else to do the job right away, you can have that guy as a working superintendent cover that base for a while until you can fill that gap and hire somebody full time.
Okay. Yeah, the thing is, I've been doing a lot of small projects. So sometimes I have 1 or 2 guys only on that job. And those guys, I'm using them to go to the store and purchase materials as they need, because I don't have the time to be all the like bringing material for them and look at what needs to be done next. And they're not like I have to be telling them every day or every other day what to do. So they're not kind of leaders,
Yeah, and again, that issue you just brought up, a lot of that can be solved by literally doing what we just talked about. By having an operations meeting in your calendar, creating a better schedule. Maybe at the beginning of the day, you decide to meet with him for 15 minutes by phone and review all the work that was done the day before. You hear what's on his agenda today, make sure he has the materials in order, make sure he has the work that your team needs to do on that job in order, and then he goes off and executes. But you solve that kind of not knowing what's going on, making sure he's prepared. What do we have to do? You solve that through this cadence. That's literally what we're talking about here.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other questions?
No, that's it for now.
Cool.
Well, I don't have a question, but I got some good news that maybe I might be going to East Caribbean in a couple of days.
Whoa. You said that way so fast.
So I might be going to the East Caribbean in a couple of days.
Dude, East Caribbean. Yeah, man.
It's a working vacation. It's a job. And it's kind of both.
Okay, cool. That's
Andrew,
awesome.
do you need a helper?
That's the main request I get from everybody is, do you want to go? I got 14 people wanting to go right now to do this job down there. We got a house down there that we take care of. And every couple of years they call us to go down there. And it looks like that's about the time we're going to go is in the next week or so, we're going to be flying down there to take care of that.
That's awesome. That's huge. Awesome, Andrew. I just got done talking to Jeff Watson, one of our clients who just got back from Puerto Rico and has some fun stories. Anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Well, it's about 5:06 Central right now. So again, create a cadence in your business. We went over the 5 most important meetings. If you want to talk about this further, talk about it in your meeting with your coach, schedule a laser coaching call. But you really can get to a point where you're running your business with structure, with your time, with preparedness, and eliminating and reducing the burning fires. If you feel like you can't schedule it because of the burning fires, scheduling it is your only hope out of that cycle. So guys, thank you so much for being here today, and we'll see you at the top. Hey, are we gonna do the 3, 2, 1?
Of course, let's do it.
Harley,
Lead us, Rudy.
All right, we got to do this. It's every week. We're going 3, 2, 1 growth. All right. 3, 2, 1 growth.